Hey guys, Christopher Green, AMTV, alternative media television. It's really early this morning. Got the birds chirping in the background. I'm about to do more of my preps. And today I want to give you a critical update on what's going on with what Donald Trump now dubs the Chinese virus. Notice he wants to build a direct association with China. That's because we're going to war with China. That's why he calls it the Chinese virus. And in addition to that, I want to talk about what the big picture is and what the real agenda is. So let's just think about what's happening logically and completely objectively right now. Total shutdown. Global shutdown. Worldwide event. Governor Newsom declaring martial law in Los Angeles. This came out late last night. He says they are preparing for worst case scenarios. We have military movements and troops moving into every state around the country. Notably, we've seen this first in the Patriot states like Texas, because again, they know that's where the Patriots are. This is not just about America. This is a global, coordinated, engineered event to not only collapse the fiat monetary system, reset the debt through all of these bailouts, and shenanigans and fraud and manipulation of Wall Street. Isn't it interesting that just a couple of weeks ago, people like Warren Buffett were telling us we have the strongest economy and strongest stock market that we've ever had, telling us not to bet against America. Now we have a global depression, no growth, no incomes, no jobs, martial law on the streets, food panics and riots all across America, like we're Zimbabwe, Venezuela, or Argentina collapsing into hyperinflation. Think about that for a minute. So we know that, right? We understand that. We get that this is the perfect ruse. The virus is the perfect scapegoat for all of this. It's going to lead us into war, a more dramatic reset. But you have to understand, why would the global elites, let's ask the bigger question. Why would the global elites be putting all of us locked up in cages in our homes so we can't meet and greet with each other, can't congregate at our churches, we can't participate in our community, we can't have real conversations in person, we're all stuck at home? Think about it. Why would they do that? Why would they psychologically, and more importantly than that, physically quarantine all of us? Let's go back to the coup. This is a global military coup. The United States empire has fallen. The United States has fallen. Let's just look at Trump for a minute. Pro-America, America first. Against socialism and against big government. Says the stock market was strongest it had ever been, even though he told us it was a bubble. And I told you he was lying about that because he said we were in a bubble prior to him even being elected, which he was correct about, which all the gains that Trump had have now been officially erased. Now, suddenly, stock market has collapsed. The bubble's popped. We're in a Great Depression. Donald Trump's going to give free money to every American, some $1,000 to every adult, $500 to every child. So he's a socialist now, and they're running socialist policies here in the United States. And then in addition to that, he's asking all of us to trust big government, right? Because he's signed the War Production Act, like during World War II, where now the United States government has nationalized industry like they did and the oligarchs did in Russia when the USSR collapsed. But again, the bigger question that I haven't gotten to yet, and I'm going to give you the answer in a minute. What would you do? Let's get that answer by asking a question. What would you do if you wanted to collapse the United States of America in a worldwide takeover and coup? And you had plans not just for martial law, which has been declared now in San Francisco, Gavin Newsom in Los Angeles, moving to all 50 states. Trump will make an announcement very, very soon. And you, as big bad government, wanted to roll tanks into the streets of America. Would you want people outside? Would you want militias congregating in great patriot states like Texas and Arizona and those kinds of places? Or would you want people cooped up inside, stoking so much fear and anxiety about this deadly alien concocted biological weapon Chinese virus so that people were immobilized and they could not organize? The agenda is very easy to see. Next, so let me tell you what's next. We already see Donald Trump, through war of words, attaching the virus to China. Because again, as I've told you for almost a decade now, we're going to war with China. All economic warfare, all embargoes, all trade deals and negotiations that Donald Trump has been working on with China, just like during World War II, when we were negotiating with Japan prior to the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and the attack on Midway, and then the events that led to World War II. What's next is they're rolling out tanks. You do realize that, right? While you're cooped up in your home because you're so scared about the virus. Don't get the virus. By the way, does anyone know anyone with the darn virus? I'm serious. Like, I'm asking you. I mean, I have millions of people that follow me. Do you know anyone with the virus? Like, actually physically know someone? Like, not heard about it. Not Hollywood. Not Tom Hanks. Not Arnold Schwarzenegger telling you to stay in your home. Didn't Arnold Schwarzenegger flee tyranny from Austria, like, during the war? So we could come to a free country? Now he's telling everybody to stay in their homes while they roll out martial law and tanks in the streets? I guess he's so rich now he just doesn't care. You have to understand what the bigger picture is here. You have to understand, best case scenario, this is just a reset of the financial system and a rollout of the new financial order that I've been talking about for a very long time. Reset the debts, collapse the dollar, create hyperinflation, bailouts, engineer and institute socialism, which has always been the agenda. Worst case, there's something bigger they're not telling us. Worldwide quarantines? Worldwide shutdowns? This is just not one country. Even Angela Merkel says it's the biggest fight since World War II. See how convenient it is for them? Stay in your homes, folks, as they roll out the tanks into your city streets. For your own good, of course, and your own safety. And don't congregate at your churches. Don't go to mass. And most certainly, don't form well-regulated militias here in the United States of America, even though it's your right. Because it's martial law now. As Gavin Newsom, governor, I believe, out in Los Angeles, says, all options are on the table, and they're preparing for a worst-case scenario. Makes sense now, doesn't it? Should. This is epic, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most epic worldwide event that you or I or we have ever seen in our lifetime. But I'll tell you this, you're not being told the entire truth. There is a much bigger agenda here. And, hey, we should even entertain some outlandish conspiracy theories too, because to be honest with you, there's not a single conspiracy theory I've ever researched that hasn't turned out to be true. Honestly. What else could be happening? What else could be happening to this planet? We've talked about alien disclosure. Is an asteroid about to hit? Is that why they're putting us all in our home and telling us to, get gear, emergency kits and food and water and all this stuff so we stock up and we're basically just locked in a freaking bunker? Who knows at this point? Like, again, I've given you best case scenarios, which are terrible. Economic depression, reset of the debt, total collapse of the fiat monetary system, collapse of the United States of America, socialism, big government, all the things Donald Trump has warned us against. And or it could be far more outlandish and far worse. Let's get into action steps again. Be prepared. I'm up early today. I'm going to be running some last minute preps. It's better to get up to the stores early or later when they're cycling through new inventory and learn wherever local community you are when they get the new goods, when they get meat, when they get poultry. There's no toilet paper anymore and they're running out of water and those kinds of things, but the other supplies that are going to be rationed and run out soon, like cash, like gas. You guys can do the math. There's, I love you guys. Be prepared. Get your preps. Get what you guys need. I've got a few emergency kits left at the store. A family preparedness pack for 10 people. A family preparedness pack for 4. We are now out 2-week shipping, just like I told you. And I will be completely out of stock probably by the end of the day. So this happened with my food storage, all my food storage inventory, which we have no more left. It's all sold out. And it went from 5 to 7 business days to 2 weeks, then 3, then 4, then 8. And then all of our suppliers shut down because they don't have any more raw materials. So I still have a few packs left. Click the link below, get them. I brought everything down to cost and I will be out of inventory very, very soon. Also, click the link below for that or visit us at store.amtvmedia.com. Also, in addition to that, God has been speaking. I don't know if you noticed, but one of the trumpets fell out in Utah, one of their temples during the earthquake yesterday. Yep, just another sign from God, just another trumpet having been blown. Donald Trump, trumpet. Interesting. 2020 is hindsight, vision. 2019 Economist magazine, 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse came out of Russia. It's almost as if the elites put this all right in front of our faces. Even The Simpsons predicted this, by the way. Donald Trump would be president. Before he would be president, then there would be a massive stock market crash, economic depression, economic collapse, and then a woman was going to be president. Remember that? See, Matt Groening is part of the system and a part of the elites. And they know. What's coming next is more mass censorship, by the way, total control of media, high likelihood of a shutdown with the grid going down, the internet faltering, at least for a couple of hours or a couple of days or something like that to instill maximum fear and panic. And then, of course, the state-run media, because we're no different than totalitarian China or any other nation like that. Basically, the official, voices of the state propaganda machine like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC are going to usher in and roll out like they're the savior, the new agenda. And they're going to say things like, aren't you glad you have us? And that's what your government's going to tell you. Like, thank gosh for big government saving all of us because of this man-made biological weapon coronavirus has put us all in our homes. And now we have tanks in the street. And you're lucky if we have martial law in this country. I mean, there's some liberals I've talked to and they're like, they seriously say that. They're like, oh, no, it's a good thing, Christopher, that we have tanks in the streets. We should have martial law. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm going to go get more prepped. Get our gear, emergency kits, just about sold out. 2-week delivery. We'll get them out, rush it out as soon as possible. But it's first come, first serve until it's completely liquidated. And it's all gone. Includes medical masks, a little bit of food and water, but mostly a lot of emergency kit related gear, gloves. That's huge. When you're gassing up your cars, you're at the grocery store, wear gloves. Wear gloves, not just the masks. Okay, because if this stuff is airborne and we know it can last more than 24 hours and it can last on surfaces for days and it travels via air passageways and these kinds of things, better be prepared than sorry. Or you can do nothing and you can say this is just fear mongering. Even though people like me, I've been selling food storage for 11 years, by the way, when the economy was supposedly doing well, people were calling me crazy. And I was telling you to store grain, food, water, get your preps, emergency kits. And now people are like, oh, Christopher, you're profiting off a crisis. Really? I've been selling emergency kits, food storage, warning of economic depression, world war, these kinds of events, pandemics for over a decade. For this exact moment in time so that you were prepared and you weren't left hung out to dry as they rolled out military tanks into every single state across America. And there was a declaration through executive order and a wartime power act that Trump has just signed into law with nationalizing industry and banking, and soon to be quarantining all of you worldwide in your homes for a minimum of 30 days.